Both teams have lost back-to-back games. Both teams enter action at 5-4 in a jam-packed AFC. We're underway in Sin City. Booming kick coming out to the 25-yard line, and that's where Joe Burrow and the Bengals will take over. Charles, you bring it up just because it's pretty amazing. The ACL injury took place 364 days ago for Burrow.
The toughness element, the dedication to the game, which means the dedication to rehab to get himself back. And remember, he was essentially ready for training camp, not just getting ready for the first snap of the season. Amazing what he's done, and he told us the knee's getting stronger every day, and he's almost back to the point where he doesn't even realize he had an injury.
Bye week, he shut it down, watched TV. He was just a fan, football fan, watching like everybody else. First and 10 from the 25, fake the handoff, dump it off underneath. Drew Sample, catch and run. And he picks up a modest 3 yards, tackled by Denzel Perriman, who has been a tackling machine for the Raiders this season. Offensive line, the one area that has been a bit suspect with the injury to Xavier Su'a-Filo. They tried Jackson Carman there. Now it's on Dennegy. Trey Hopkins came out and said he's got to play better, also coming off injury. Two tight ends in this formation, 2nd down and 7. We know the talent of Joe Mixon. How many carries will he get today? Here's the first. Trying to drive it to the 30-yard line, and will pick up 1. Quentin Jefferson provided a wall there for the Raiders. Defensively for this Las Vegas squad, again, really talented front. We know what Ngakoue and Crosby can do. That 1-2 punch. Linebackers, Perriman is having a career year. And then in the secondary, Casey Hayward got off to the hot start this year. Gus Bradley trying to create some opportunities for this defense to have an impact on the game. 3rd down and 6. Burrow steps up. Burrow will tuck and run. 1st down. Interesting in our conversations with Perriman, he said, hey, Burrow's a dual threat. You got to respect what he can do with his legs. Even though the numbers are not prodigious, he does have the ability to do exactly that.
And respect what he does with his mind as well, because the Raiders are typically what we call a cover 3 team. 3 deep in the secondary, a free safety in the middle. They showed what looked like 3 deep, but it became man-to-man coverage with a free safety in the middle. Joe Burrow saw the man-to-man coverage, had people covered, but that meant they weren't watching him. Took off and dashed, picked up the 1st down.
Going against a 4-man front. Hard cut by Mixon. Knocked down at the 40-yard line. Gain of 4. Corey Littleton in there for Las Vegas. Well, Zach Taylor now in his 3rd year as the head coach of the Bengals. We asked him, what'd you do during the bye week? He said mostly coaching staff looked at situational stuff. Monday, he got the guys out on the grass to practice. Didn't even mention the Raiders. Just wanted to get their mind and body right. Wednesday, they started the real preparation, getting back to the normal routine.
And I liked his point of, we self-scout every week. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you get to the open, yeah, self-scout. We do that every week anyway, so I liked how he made that point with us.
Motion man Boyd trying to squeeze it into a tight window, and it's incomplete. Uzama, the intended receiver, sets up 3rd down and 6 now for Cincinnati. Perriman in on that play for the Raiders.
Well, the situations, the first 2 3rd downs of the game have been in the Raiders' favor. What Cincinnati's worried about most are the defensive ends and Max Crosby and in Yannick Ngakoue. Can they put heat on Joe Burrow? These are ideal situations for the Raiders. The first one, Cincinnati had an answer. Here we go again. Look to the right, 98 Crosby, and up to the top, 91 Ngakoue.
4 receivers set. Dime package for the Raiders. Can't handle the rush. The ball squirts loose. Raiders have it. On the run, Levitt. Levitt still going and dropped inside the 10. Ngakoue gets to the quarterback. And exactly what the Raiders were looking for on defense.
Right at the top of your screen, look at Ngakoue. He gets double-teamed by Williams, 73, P-Rhyme, 34, works his way back inside and knocks the ball free from Burrow. And Dallin Levitt on the spot and turns into a high school running back, which I'll bet you he was in his younger days. They convert quickly. Now, first play coming out of here, Rich Bisaccia, the interim head coach, says our motto is start fast, finish faster. Do they take the shot right now and stick it at Darren Waller right here on the first snap after the takeaway?
Cincinnati is now -5 in turnover differential, a big one early. Peyton Barber is in. From the 9. Give it to Barber. Powers his way to the 6. That's a gain of 3. Well, Derek Carr, numbers are still off the charts, but he has thrown an interception in 3 straight games. Comes in 278 yards away from 30,000 for his career, now in his 8th year in the league.
A nice little interlude there with Josh Jacobs in the backfield. Here's Jacobs, number 28, his running back. Sometimes you have that little bit of a tell. Does Jacobs get it right here?
He does not. Carr will dart it. And Waller is blown up. Read perfectly. Mike Hilton. Loss of 2.
Mike Hilton looked like Jesse Bates, number 30. They fake it inside and try and get it to Waller on a screen with Moreau, but you called it, Ian. Hilton comes inside the blockers, blows it up immediately, and then Bates comes in and helps clean it up. And they need better play out of Jesse Bates, number 30. One of the better free safeties in the leagues, missed too many tackles in the first half of the season. He vows to improve that aspect of his game now.
3rd and goal for the Raiders. Trying to get points on the board. Swing pass. Glances off the hand of Jacobs. Incomplete. And now it's 4th down. Raiders will send out the field goal unit. And we'll have to settle for 3.
Certainly felt like Derek Carr anticipated more people coming at him. Turned out to be just a 4-man rush on that play. And consequently, he rushed his delivery and misfired on it. This will be a disappointment, even if the ball goes through the pipes, Ian. 3 points for the Raiders after that takeaway and big run back by Levitt. Big time credit to the Bengals defense, led by their coordinator, Lou Anarumo.
Short field goal attempt. Daniel Carlson, 26 yards away. Carlson has had an excellent season. And Las Vegas strikes first. After the fumble by Burrow and the Bengals, they limit the damage in Las Vegas. Tremendous venue here in the desert. And the Raiders with a 3-0 lead on the Bengals. Carlson will kick it off once again to Phillips after the short field goal. And Ngakoue knocking the ball free.
They got the matchup they wanted. 3rd and long 2 times in that series. The first time Burrow runs for a first down. The second time, and Ngakoue gets to him, strips the ball. Levitt with the big fumble return.
And a touchback out to the 25.
And let's show why it was so important that Ngakoue gets to him, because watch downfield with the receivers working against the defensive backs. All right, top of the thing, there's Jamar Chase, open. Tyler Boyd running downfield. So getting to him was vital by Ngakoue. Otherwise, Burrow had a chance to pick out an open man.
Cincinnati now trailing. 2nd possession of the day. Burrow with Mixon behind him. They'll give it to Boyd on the jet sweep. Zigzags to the outside. And a nice run on 1st down as he lunges for 14.
Tremendous block by number 89, Sample. Watch it the right side. Watch Sample 89 out in front. Look at him, just controlling Jonathan Abram. And that allows Boyd to get to the corner and turn upfield unimpeded for at least the first 5 yards. Excellent job by Drew Sample, tight end for Cincinnati.
So a new set of downs for Cincinnati to work with from the 39. Play fake. Burrow out of the pocket, buys time. Fires it. Tipped. Incomplete. Getting a piece. Faison getting the start here for Las Vegas. And it's 2nd and 10. All right, updated standings. Baltimore now 7-3. Pittsburgh 5-3-1. There's Cincinnati at 5-4. Cleveland at 6-5 in the AFC West. Another division where everybody has at least 5 wins. Kansas City currently leading the way at 6-4.
Pittsburgh plays tonight against the Los Angeles Chargers, so both of those divisions represented, as we just saw. But how about Kansas City? Just a few weeks ago, people were wondering, what's wrong? What's going on? And they're back at the top where they typically are.
Fake the jet sweep action. Instead, it's a toss from Mixon. Oh, he'll dish out punishment. Joe Mixon, physical runner, dynamic ability, met by Casey Hayward Jr. and turns it into a 4-yard pickup.
Once again, 3rd and 6. Pass rush situation. Raiders again looking to get unleashed. Max Crosby, Yannick Ngakoue. There's Crosby, number 98. Had 3 sacks against Denver earlier this year. Ngakoue had the strip sack on the last possession, number 91 in black.
Last game Cincinnati played against Cleveland, they allowed 5 sacks, 12 quarterback hits versus the Browns 2 weeks ago. Pirine is in from the gun. Burrow flushed out, rushes on, and Burrow's got to toss it away. A flag is down at the 28.
And we've seen this before with these Raiders. Remember, we were here for Miami, and it was late, and they were getting off the field, and they throw the flag for the extra shot.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 91. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
So you had Ngakoue and Crosby with a beat on the quarterback.
When we were here for the Miami game, it was Crosby that extended the drive. This time, Ngakoue. It doesn't feel like much to everyone at home, but it's multiple steps after the ball is gone, and he puts his hands on him and he goes down. That's going to draw the flag every time.
Hey, look how damaging this penalty is. Cincinnati is going to punt it away. The drive is done. Instead, the Bengals now have it in Las Vegas territory at the 42-yard line. Single setback, Mixon leans in, crossing the 40 for 5, tackled by Jonathan Abram on the play.
Cincinnati getting this reprieve needs to take full advantage of it. I would suspect right now Zach Taylor, as the head coach and the play caller, is talking to himself in those exact terms. We got an extra shot at this thing. What do I have on my play sheet to get Jamar Chase, number 1, unleashed here early and try and go for a big shot? Chase here at the top of the screen.
Motion man Uzama, 2nd down and 5. Pitch it. Mixon. In heavy traffic, Mixon works his way for a yard. That's it. Damian Square held up along with a bunch of other Raiders on the play along the line of scrimmage. So sets up another 3rd down here for Cincinnati. Raiders come in middle of the pack, 16th in team defense, 26th though in scoring defense.
This is not quite as long as what they've had. Remember how they started the game with a screen? Let's see if they anticipate that type of pressure and want to use it against them that way.
It's a 3rd and 4 for the Bengals. From the 36, Burrow stands tall in the pocket, fires to the outside, it's incomplete. Facing excellent coverage along the sideline on T. Higgins, and now what do? You're kind of in no man's land here.
I think they're going to punt this one away and play to their defense on this one, but this is, as you described, excellent coverage. Remember, facing they got in preseason. Came from the Chargers. Looks like a field goal attempt instead of a punt.
Yeah, Huber ran out there, and then McPherson joined him. It's a 54-yard attempt, which would be a season long for the rookie out of Florida. Looking to tie the game, McPherson leans into it, and McPherson drills it with some room to spare. Knotted up at 3 apiece. Cincinnati gets the equalizer here in the opening quarter. 3 apiece, 7:36 left. Evan McPherson, his long field goal of the season. 5th-round draft pick, has been a crunch time performer going back to his collegiate days, and now Kenyon Drake is going to get an opportunity to return this one. Drake initially looked like he was going to try to circle to the outside. Instead, he is bottled up at the 15-yard line, and that's where the Raiders will have it. Chris Evans on special teams. Big holiday weekend, college football coming your way on CBS beginning on Friday at noon. Boise State, 19th ranked San Diego State, followed by Missouri matching up with number 21, Arkansas. Then on Saturday, 3:30, the SEC on CBS features number 2, Alabama and Auburn, adding another chapter to the Iron Bowl. That's all coming up this week on CBS.
Yeah, some of those teams have some big seasons. How about San Diego State with Brady Hoke and Sam Pittman calling the Hogs in Arkansas?
Well placed to Waller. Big gain, Darren Waller. The tackler wasn't even facing the correct way as Awuzie was there defensively. It's a 25-yard pickup.
Maybe he didn't want to see what was coming at him, but watch Waller off the last scrimmage, 83 in black, freezes Jesse Bates with a nice move and a perfectly thrown ball. And then Awuzie ends up hand fighting with Zay Jones and doesn't realize the train's on its way through. And then Waller ends up crashing into him on the backside. But our power colleague Evan Washburn talked to us about getting Darren Waller unlocked for the Raiders. That's the first start of it.
2 tight ends in this formation. Stutter step move from Jacobs. They push the pile across the 45. Ogunjobi in on that tackle. It's a 6-yard gain for Las Vegas.
And I think that any time that Derek Carr looks up and sees Darren Waller where he feels like it's going to be man-to-man and there's not a bracket coverage, a second person in the vicinity, he's going to try and get the ball to him every single time in that situation. Try and win that matchup because there won't be many times that he'll be left to run free. Let's see how the Bengals decide to defend him the rest of the way going on.
Raiders have been outscored by 31 points in first quarters this season. Swing pass, caught by Jacobs. Loops it to the outside, and he's got a first down. Just across midfield, they're going to spot the football at the 50 and move the chains for the Raiders.
And watch all these guys up front doing their job as blockers. Look at that right there, engaged as Brian Edwards. Waller, 83, was blocking. Zay Jones, 7, blocking. Getting some help from Colton Miller, 74, but everyone trying to screen people off as they try and find some space for Josh Jacobs. If they can't run it, get it to him out in the open field and let him try and traverse that way.
Motion man Hunter Renfrow having a terrific season for Las Vegas. And they're going to give it to him. Jet sweep. Lane opened up and then closed. 5-yard gain. Trey Hendrickson sniffing it out. Hendrickson has been a tremendous addition for Cincinnati, signed to that 4-year, $60 million deal. We asked him, what'd you do during the bye week? He went, I went down to Nashville. My wife is in pharmacy school, so she was locked in doing her stuff. He just sat on the couch.
So he was not locked in.
Not locked in. The opposite of locked in.
But that was a big tackle, and he doesn't make that tackle. I think that Renfrow runs a long way.
2nd and 5. Jacobs makes one man miss, but then everybody was there, including Jermaine Pratt. They limit Jacobs to a gain of 1.
Yeah, Pratt was the first guy on the scene. You talk about making a guy miss, but he hit him first. See him coming straight down through the gap, and he's not able to hold on as Jacobs spins, but because he occupied him long enough, the rest of those white shirts able to get there and knock him down.
And Charles Deshaun Jackson is in the game for the Raiders. So we'll see what Greg Olsen has dialed up here on a 3rd and 4.
Hey, Roger!
Play clock down to 3. Carr swing it right through the hands of Drake. Now, I'm not sure they were going to have the necessary amount of room to work with anyway, but the play never got going.
A little bit surprised they don't take the shot downfield on it for this reason. Derek Carr ends up seeing a man-free coverage, a single safety in the middle of the field, everyone in man-to-man. Thought he might take a shot with one of his guys singled up out there, but they had the swing screen called. Unable to complete it. Raiders going to punt it away.
A.J. Cole having a Pro Bowl level season for the Raiders. Darius Phillips return man. And he's wrapped up at the 7-yard line. Zay Jones, first man downfield, 37-yard punt, well placed. Burrow and the Bengals offense back to work when we come back. Turns in the Equalizer, the show that critics are calling fresh and reinvigorating. Don't miss a new episode of the Equalizer tonight after 60 minutes on CBS.
Do not upset her.
Oh, no.
Bad idea.
Deep in their own territory, Cincinnati, after the punt from Cole, Joe Mixon, the running back. Motion man Higgins. Very decisive from Mixon to pick up 3 yards to the 10. Hit down low by Jonathan Hankins on the play. Yeah, we asked Joe Burrow about flying out to the West Coast. They came in yesterday, so they didn't do the fly Friday. They said, we're just going to fly in Saturday and stay on East Coast time. Burrow said he tends to go to bed at about 8:30, wakes up right around 6:15.
So what you're saying is we pushed him to the edge with our meeting?
Our meeting went to about 5:05 local. He was about 25 minutes from his bedtime. He said he had to get his meals in, though, first. 2nd down and 7. Burrow has time. Darts one underneath to Pirine. And rolls forward short of the 1st down. Hit by Perriman on the play. It's a 6-yard pickup through the air.
Considering how much time Joe Burrow had, as you described that pocket being clean for him, that's a really good play for the Las Vegas Raiders defense. That Perriman's on the spot, that he can't find anyone deeper downfield to throw the football to. That meant the coverage was good, and then underneath, on the catch, put him right on the ground.
3rd and 1, trying to convert late stages, opening quarter. 4 receivers set. Uzama sets up on the outside. Burrow hits his man, Pirine, and it's a 1st down. Just short of the 20-yard line, needed a yard. They picked up 3. Jonathan Abram over there to make the tackle.
It's a 1st down for Cincinnati, but something comes to mind that I heard from both sides in preparation for this game. Both defensive coordinators, our tackling has to be better. It must be better. Both of them had struggles in the last 2 games where they lost, getting people on the ground in the open field. So far in this one, pretty crisp on the Raiders side.
Fake it. Burrow underneath. In traffic, Uzama is dropped after a gain of just 2 yards on the play. Charles, you've done a lot of these production meetings, as have I. We'll often ask the quarterback, all right, what do you know about the defensive coordinator, the defense you're playing against? In this particular case, Joe Burrow knows a lot about Gus Bradley because their families were very close going back to the North Dakota State days when Joe's dad was a big-time coordinator at the collegiate level, and Gus Bradley was there. They grew very close. Jim Burrow, highly respected college coach over the course of his career.
And Gus was the linebackers coach, Jim Burrow the coordinator.
Burrow on target to Tyler Boyd. So he said, some of my best memories, we go ice fishing together in North Dakota. And we said, oh, yeah? He said, yeah. He doesn't have the accent.
And I have to admit, as soon as he said some of my best memories were ice fishing,
you were out.
Number 75 is eligible.
And so Isaiah Prince is checked into the ball game as an extra offensive lineman. I wonder if he feels the same way about ice fishing that I do. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But remember, Joe Burrow was in 4th grade when all that started. That's when he first met Gus Bradley.
Extra offensive lineman here for Cincinnati. This is a 3rd and 1. 30 seconds left in the 1st. They're going to get Chase involved, and Chase cannot get there. Did not fool the Raiders. Abram closing the gap quickly, and a loss of 2 on the play.
And the guy that they brought in, 75, Isaiah Prince, the extra offensive lineman, that's who Jonathan Abram defeated to foil this play. So you had a strong safety, Abram, number 24, taking on an offensive tackle, and Isaiah Prince, number 75, goes through him and forces him backwards. They don't pick up the 1st down.
This is the end of the 1st quarter.
2nd quarter is coming up from Las Vegas. Big one today between the Bengals and the Raiders. Who wouldn't want to stop by the Pinball Hall of Fame Museum here in Las Vegas? A couple of our Hall of Fame camera operators, James Arminio and Janice Murray, did not get the high scores. Huber, the punt. Renfro, the return. Out near the 40-yard line, that's where the Raiders will open up. Michael Thomas, the tackle. We're back in 30 seconds after this from Nissan.
Curve ahead. Hey, buddy, want me to drive?
Why would I want that?
Everyone says you couldn't handle the curve. Who says that?
Show Tebow a curve, guy falls apart.
Tebow, the curve? No way.
Literally everyone says that.
They're talking about a different thing.
Okay.
Third all-time meeting between the Raiders and the Bengals. Las Vegas 21-11 in the series. Defensively, it was a rough showing last week. They got dismantled by Kansas City. Much better showing thus far. First two possessions, field goal and a punt. Raiders trying to do a little bit more here from the 39-yard line. Zay Jones, motion man. Flip it over the middle. Catch made. Kenyon Drake. And he's dropped at the 45. Logan Wilson, first man there. And then Von Bell joined in. Gain of 6.
Nice little improv there by Derek Carr, the quarterback. Didn't have what he wanted downfield. Couldn't quite see over the line of scrimmage. That little jump in the pocket in order to get enough loft to complete it, make it 2nd and 4. He talked to us about saying we've got to be much better about the details of our offense, being more precise. That's what they're going to need today to move the ball against Cincinnati.
On a give, Drake slicing through for a first down. They have not run the ball effectively this season. They're 28th in rushing. There was a whiff there by Hubbard. And Drake turns it upfield for 7.
That's big for the right side of the offensive line for the Raiders. Alex Leatherwood, number 70, has a double team that he starts with Andre James, the center, 68, and Brandon Parker, the right tackle. They've had their struggles over the last few weeks. Has a nice positive play for those big guys moving people at the line of scrimmage.
They have lost Alec Ingold to a knee injury on IR. Catch made, Darren Waller working on that sideline, and Waller at the 40-yard line. Carr told us it's a big loss. Ingold, they leaned on him quite a bit.
That means he's got to continue to lean on some of the guys who give them excellent plays, and that would be Darren Waller. Remember, we talked about this at the start. When Derek Carr identifies Darren Waller in any type of a one-on-one situation, I think he's going to find more times than not a way to feed him the football, because so many times he gets bracketed, double team, triple team.
Raiders on the move. It's a handoff. Good power run by Drake for 4 as we check in with Evan.
And guys, I touched on it, that Waller was watching tape this week of some of the top wide receivers. I asked him specifically who, and he said DeAndre Hopkins. He said when he's lined up outside, it's very similar in what he sees defensively to what Hopkins sees defensively. The only tight end that's in his company in terms of coverage, I guessed it, Kelsey.
Yeah, that's good stuff, Evan. And one of the things I think that Darren Waller wants to continue to incorporate in his game, the ability to uncover downfield when the ball is coming to him. With his size and frame, even if he's covered, he might not be covered if the ball's in the right spot. Let him use his body and go up and get in great plays.
From the 36, flip it to the outside. Jacobs, Ingalls out of bounds. Logan Wilson with a little shove right at the end of the play. That's 6 yards on the pitch and catch.
And give an assist to Darren Waller, because the Bengals know that the Raiders want to get him the football. They want him to get active and involved. So they showed Darren Waller to the left side of the formation, and it looked like, hey, he might be a prime target. When he worked his way inside, it's like he showed himself as a receiver, and they flipped it out behind him, hoping to fool the defense a little and gain additional yardage.
Good set.
2nd down and 4. From the 30, Jacobs slips through and gains just a yard on the play. Not a whole lot of push.
And we got a substitution eyeing at the offensive line. John Simpson, the left guard, is coming off the field holding his left side. Going in was number 60, Jordan Simmons, who they picked up earlier in the season. He had been in Seattle as an undrafted free agent, 20 games played there, 9 starts. They've had trouble with that left side. There's Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator of the Bengals. He liked what they did on the last snap. They controlled the line of scrimmage.
Remember, it was supposed to be Richie Incognito, who has not been healthy enough to come back. Out of the pocket, 3rd and 3. Carr didn't have a choice. Had nothing open and chucks it out of bounds. Kareem with the pressure.
And the coverage downfield, excellent by the Bengals. When everything breaks down, okay, so watch everyone back here, but I'm going to have you freeze it downfield at a certain point so you see where the coverage is. Look at this. All right, now freeze it. where exactly you're going to go with the football. You can't go there, can't go there, can't go there. None of those places do you have.
Lead here in the second quarter. This is a Raider team that suffered back-to-back losses, entering the week third in the AFC West. They had just 299 yards of offense last week, allowed 516 to the Chiefs.
How about both of these teams in the early going? Their defense is getting off the deck after their last performances where they got blown out.
Return man is Darius Phillips. Phillips slips by one special teamer and then stood up and brought down right around the 29-yard line by Faison. On Tuesday, in honor of the NFL Salute to Service initiative, the Raiders paid a visit to a local Air Force base in North Las Vegas. Raiders players, members of the Raiderettes, as well as team staff, signed autographs, took pictures, and engaged with military families.
Very nice, huh? Corey Littleton there, Darren Waller, and
the man,
A.J. Cole.
A.J. Cole rocking the long hair.
There's a little pop, too, when he goes downfield covering punts.
Give Mixon trying to spin away, and they whistle it dead. So trying to establish Mixon, it hasn't happened yet. It's a loss of 3. Combination of Nassib and Hankins.
Look at the guys up front, and you mismentioned Hankins. Did you see the get off number 90 in black hat on that snap? That ball was snapped, and he was off out of his stance and into the offensive backfield quickly. That's him right here. Number 90, Jonathan Hankins, helping create a different line of scrimmage back from where the ball was snapped.
This Raiders defense has been outstanding in the first half. 5 receivers set. Cincinnati has been held to 48 total yards. Burrow, short drop, hot throw, handled by Tyler Boyd. It's enough for a first down. Nate Hobbs in coverage.
You notice how they went to an empty formation there, giving Joe Burrow a chance to scan the field and pick out his target. And he sees Tyler Boyd matched up with Corey Littleton, a linebacker. Loves the matchup and gets it there. Why does he like to work out of empty? Well, think about the mental processing that goes into the game for a quarterback. Joe Burrow, that is a big part of his game. He soon enough will be the guy that'll stand the line of scrimmage and orchestrate like we saw Peyton Manning do, like we see a Tom Brady do, where everything will be in his hands.
Chris Evans in there. He's an excellent receiver. Burrow forced out, on the move, turns the corner and walks the tightrope out at the 40-yard line. Jonathan Hankins in pursuit.
How about that? I mean, the big guy was on the move, wasn't he? Making sure that Burrow had to get his hot foot going to try and get away.
Last meeting between these two teams, week 11 of 2019. The Raiders got the win 17-10. Derek Carr went for 292, a touchdown, a pick, and then 1 on the ground.
Jamar Chase yet to have a target so far in this game for the Bengals.
He had that 1 carry on 3rd down. It didn't work. Burrow on 2nd and 9. There is Chase. You mention it, and it happens, Charles. Jamar Chase out of LSU. Still learning how to be a pro. He said Tyler Boyd has been really helpful on that front. Basically tells him, get open.
I mean, that's the beauty of it, right? You go for the wisdom. Tell me, Tyler Boyd.
Yes, share with me.
Please, get open. Thank you. I was working on that, but I think all he's telling him is you have the tools. You have the capabilities, you have the moves. Utilize them, get open, catch the football. That's what receivers do.
Burrow is hit on his last 6. Double tight end formation. Give it to Mixon, spun down behind the line of scrimmage. Denzel Perriman. Perriman said he is watching what he eats. He's on a new plan. His body is better than it's ever been, and it's paying off in a big way. Extra massages, ice tubs, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, you become a veteran, right? And you learn how to take care of yourself. He got some help there from Quentin Jefferson, number 77, who created a little bit of rubble inside to start off, created a gap, and then Perriman flashed through it and utilized all that newfound knowledge about his body and eating and training to put a Bengal on the deck.
Bengals are averaging 3 yards a play in this first half. This is a 2nd and 12. Rush is coming. Burrow tosses it up, And nobody home on either side. There was a meeting at the quarterback, and Corey Littleton was part of it for Las Vegas.
And guys, we saw something we don't see very often. It's called a blitz, meaning from the Raiders. They typically just rush their 4, but Corey Littleton, number 42, he became the 5th man to the party. They didn't have him schemed up in the blocking, and he comes free and hurries the throw from Burrow and forces the incompletion.
This is a 3rd and 12 for Cincinnati. Dime package for the Raiders.
Look at how they're back trying to guard that first down line, too.
Burrow under pressure again, and he's dumped. Lost the ball at the end of the play, and it was ruled down. Penalty marker on the far side at the 46. Ngakoue once again gets to the quarterback, and Burrow is just trying to make sure everything is where it's supposed to be.
Outside defense, number 77, lining up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
Quentin Jefferson is the guilty party, and it negates the Ngakoue sack.
And that's a penalty we've seen far too often this year, all right? Jefferson in the neutral zone, there's where the football is. He's got his helmet over where he's supposed to be. How you don't know where to line up, it baffles me. We see this week in and week out where they're taking away big plays that have been created by the simplest attention to detail type of things.
So it turns into a 3rd and 7. Second penalty for the Raiders. They came in with 68 penalties, 7th most in the NFL. Pirine is in there. Burrow short drop, gets rid of it, and it's on time for a 1st down. Burrow zips it in there to Tyler Boyd. Get open. That's the credo.
And just think about, in the space of 2 plays, what we just saw. A Yannick Ngakoue sack is erased, and 1 play later, Tyler Boyd picks up big yardage downfield because the Bengals get the ball back with another opportunity. This is what happens when you don't take care of business the way you're supposed to, take care of the details. The Raiders didn't, the Bengals made them pay. And right now, also in those 3rd down situations, the Raiders have continued to have the advantage. Those ends are working the offensive tackles of the Bengals quite well.
Cincinnati has a little something going here. Jamar Chase. Tremendous speed to the outside, the 2019 Biletnikoff Award winner. Chasey Hayward over there to give chase on Jamar.
And they utilized Max Crosby's eagerness to get upfield at the defensive end spot, number 98. He crashed inside just a little bit trying to get upfield, and that allowed on the jet sweep for Jamar Chase to clear him and get to the corner.
9th play of the drive. 1st down Cincinnati, inside the Raiders 25.
Stanley Wilson in the game, number 17, excellent blocker.
And Mixon ran into the defender. He had to make a decision. He veered towards the right, and Max Crosby was standing right there. It's a loss of 1.
So Crosby got outfoxed a little bit on the jet sweep, but this time uses his hands. Excellent technician working inside. You notice how he showed his hands and then slid his way through the line, the blocking scheme. Gets upfield and punishes the ball carrier.
2nd down and 11 for the Bengals. We are under 5 minutes to play in this 1st half. Motion man Boyd. Burrow steps, throws, looking for it. Oh! Incomplete. Jamar Chase has been a touchdown maker, but he couldn't come down with it, with Faison winning the battle.
But what a pickup Faison has been for these Raiders. Got him from the Chargers during camp, late in camp, because they were struggling with people. He doesn't ever see the ball, but you know what he doesn't do? He doesn't panic. He stays with it, reads Chase's arms coming up, and gets his hands in between them.
Now it's 3rd and 11.
Again, they go back to empty to give Burrow a chance to spread the field, scan, and win in pre-snap. Where he wants to go with the football, where's his matchup?
Burrow, rifles, catch, Boyd, and he gets drilled. Flag down.
This will be an interesting one because, again, the Raiders win the battle, but on a 3rd down, Did they create something else that gives the Bengals another opportunity? That's what they're holding their breath on right now.
Again, the play was over. He was tackled. And the officials huddle up with Jerome Boger, the 16-year NFL ref. Played quarterback at Morehouse College in Atlanta back in the day.
Those Maroon Tigers.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 35. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Now you mentioned end of the play, play's over, right? Well, there it is right there. That's the helmet leading into the helmet of Tyler Boyd. Watch facing 35. There's the helmet right up into the face mask of Tyler Boyd.
And it's a crusher once again for the Raiders.
It's one of those ones where you hate it as a defender in terms of that, because offensive guys are going to move, they're going to change the strike zone on you, but the league has told everyone clearly from the beginning the onus is going to be on the defender to keep his head out of it. And he led with it right into the face mask of Tyler Boyd. Flag was dropped. Another big play on third down negated by a penalty by the Raiders.
So they're going to place the football at the 11-yard line. 4:32 on the clock. 6-3 lead for the Raiders. Give it to Mixon. Hard cut. Diving. Touchdown, Cincinnati. Stanley Morgan with a perimeter block. And then Mixon does the rest. What are you doing in Vegas? You're rolling some dice.
Touchdown.
That's going to be interesting because his forearm was down, not his hand. Watch as Joe Mixon goes down. Watch the left side. Is it hand? Hand first. You're good. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. Because if it had been forearm, he would be down. But it's hand. See, the hand is keeping him up. He's okay there. And he finishes extending. I think that's going to be okay for a touchdown. If it's forearm, you're down. That body part finishes it. But hand keeps him elevated. Looked like Jonah Monroe on the right on the call, the side judge. And he nailed it, I believe.
That's a rushing touchdown in 4 straight games for Joe Mixon.
And how about the block? You called it. Stanley Morgan, a wide receiver, came down the other side and became the lead blocker like a pulling guard.
Extra point, McPherson. And Cincinnati grabs the lead. The penalty against the Raiders keeps the drive alive, and then the Bengals cash in the full extension from Joe Mixon. It's 10-6, Cincy. Continues for Joe Mixon, the longest streak for a running back getting into the end zone consecutive games for the Bengals since Cedric Benson back in 2009. 12 plays, 72 yards, and it took 6 minutes and 48 seconds. McPherson kicks it off. Over the head of Drake to the 25 for Las Vegas.
And how often do you see a wide receiver, Stanley Morgan, used as a lead blocker like a pulling guard? Look at this design concept for Zach Taylor's offense with Brian Callahan as the coordinator. 17 Wilson, he is a wide receiver, and he became a pulling guard, had the absolute great kick-out block there to finish things off, and then Mixon's determination and staying airborne just long enough gets him into the end zone.
Play calling so far, 16 plays for the Raiders, 8 runs, 8 passes. They produced just 6 points. Carr will throw it. Great hands. Snatched there by Waller. And brought down across the 45. 21 yards.
Evan Washburn talked about how Darren Waller has been studying wide receivers tape to help him with these double teams and getting free. He mentioned DeAndre Hopkins specifically, now with the Arizona Cardinals. DeAndre Hopkins will be proud to see that one as well. Look at that great hands catch, and that ball was thrown exactly like you want. On the body, on the break is what quarterbacks talk about. Being precise that way is exactly what he did with Darren Waller.
Back to the ground game, Jacobs. The pile gets pushed to midfield for 3.5. Logan Wilson excellent tackler, along with Sam Hubbard there for Cincinnati. They ran the ball a season low 14 times last week. The Raiders are just 5-8 at home since the move to Las Vegas. Last year, of course, an anomaly, no fans in the stands. It's been great energy for Las Vegas in some previous games, but now fans, there's a feeling out process. Carr lets it fly, incomplete. Moreau is complaining that he was held on his release.
Yeah, he was kind of a nice little double team. It was Von Bell 24, Mike Hilton 21. Made it difficult. And another thing, the Raiders have not taken the big shot play yet with Deshaun Jackson, who they picked up to add a speed element back into their offense. At some point, you've got to think that Greg Olsen is offensive coordinator, Derek Carr is a quarterback. They're going to want to take that shot downfield, if for nothing else, to try and open up some passing lanes underneath.
Yeah, Jackson told us you do have to get used to the timing and the cadence with the new QB, but he and Carr have come along nicely in their short time together. Play clock was winding down. They go to a run play, and Drake. Why? Sam Hubbard with the tackle.
Sam Hubbard just read that so fast and got in there and got underneath the blockers. That play didn't have a chance because of Sam Hubbard's intelligence there. And I know he's one of, you know who he's a favorite player of? Has to be Evan Washburn.
Why?
Sam Hubbard's a lacrosse guy coming out of high school. He's going to go to Notre Dame and be a lax guy. And Urban Meyer talked him into being a safety and then a defensive end at Ohio State. And he just made an excellent play, diagnosing, getting underneath, and spoiling things.
He's 6'5", 265, very physical and long. A.J. Cole trying to place this one inside the 5. It bounces up in the air. Didn't quite stay there long enough for the Raiders to down it. Touchback, 47-yard punt, a net of 27. Cincinnati gets the ball back with a 10-6 lead.
If they weren't flying charter, they could just go right through the airport.
Yeah, pull a few slots, an option. Not a whole lot there. 2-yard pickup for Mixon, hit by Nate Hobbs. And we've got a minute 59 to go. Second quarter. 10-6. Bengals. Report.
Every week is so wild-eyed, we should retire the phrase, I didn't see that coming.
Yep, you're right. There's a shocker every single week. Zach Taylor, this team has been well-schooled late in the half. Second down and 8 for Burrow. Clean pocket, throws to Chris Evans. We mentioned his receiving ability. Very smooth athlete out of Michigan, 6th-round draft pick. And he's brought down by Denzel Perriman, gain of 7. So it sets up 3rd and 1. Vegas has all 3 timeouts remaining. Cincinnati as well. Home team is 7-1 in this matchup since 1998. Out of the gun. Burrow got his man for a first down. T. Higgins, spin move across the 35, and this drive remains alive for Cincinnati.
And they just took Chris Evans, motion out of the backfield. How about the patience of T. Higgins? When the ball snapped, he doesn't even come off the line of scrimmage. He lets it develop a little bit before he comes underneath and makes the catch.
Burrow dials it up. Underneath route, Tyler Boyd with another grab. That one covers 4 yards for Cincinnati. And now a timeout call.
Timeout Cincinnati, their first of the half. 30, full timeout.
So 55 seconds left in this first half. They'll face a 2nd down and 6. Now this is a Cincinnati team that was leading the AFC at the end of October, but back-to-back losses have put them now at 5-4, coming off a bye. They're playing well in this first half. Burrow, home run ball. Oh, Chase could not track it. He lost sight of it, and then the timing was off.
Well, Chase won his battle on the line of scrimmage, and he was even physical downfield inside, but Joe Burrow was getting hit and launched the ball outside. So he's feeling pressure to get rid of the ball. Max Crosby hits him. Chase had won his battle inside and expected the ball there.
Brings up 3rd and 6. Cincinnati up to 132 yards of offense. They have held Las Vegas to 102. And a timeout called.
Timeout, Cincinnati. Their second. 30-second timeout.
And we'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Lowe's. Seconds left. First half here in Las Vegas. Joe Burrow has dealt with some pressure today from this Raiders front. And now on 3rd and 6. Shotgun. Burrow. Jab step. Burrow spins. Burrow is sacked. And a timeout called down at the 29. Solomon Thomas. And Burrow limping noticeably, heading to the Cincinnati sideline.
Their first 30-second timeout.
Credit to the rush, but also credit to the guys on the back end because they didn't make it easy. When you're in scramble drill, you've got to be, as receivers, find ways to get into the sight line of your quarterback. Burrow trying to evade people. There's Ngakoue. Solomon Thomas, number 92. And he spin him around. You see the knee brace right at the end there. Max Crosby comes down on the surgically repaired knee of Joe Burrow. That's why he's wearing that brace. But the coverage, tremendous downfield. No receiver able to uncover himself and give Joe Burrow a target.
So the veteran Kevin Huber, his 200th game as a Bengal, will punt it away. Got a little bit of pressure. Sailing kick. Renfro backpedals to the 14. Work of the sideline. Renfro is met there. Just short of the 25-yard line. Stanley Morgan on special teams once again. A 57-yard kick. Burrow appears to be okay. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB and the gang. Scores and highlights all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report.
Saw that brace there on Joe Burrow's left knee as he's looking at the Surface tablet. A lot of the quarterbacks are like, hey, I feel good. I want to get rid of it. After that last play, the trainer's telling him, no, not yet. No, sir.
28 seconds left in the half. Carr in the pocket. Ducks one over the middle to Renfro. Trying to rip the ball free was Von Bell. And it's a 4-yard pickup. Clock is winding down. 14 seconds, 13 seconds. Las Vegas do have 2 timeouts remaining. And Carr flips it ahead. Catch made. Jacobs. And he is dropped. And that'll be the final play of this first half. A couple of teams trying to snap 2-game losing streaks. 10-6. Cincinnati leads Las Vegas. Halftime is next. After these first half highlights from Verizon. And a word from your taking their lumps last few weeks. Both teams believe they can be a playoff team, but it's got to start somewhere, and certainly in a matchup like this where it could have postseason implications, tiebreakers, what have you, this would be a good way to start.
No doubt about it. And what's interesting about both of these teams that when you talk about them, you lead with offense. You lead with Derek Carr for the Raiders, their quarterback. Lead with Joe Burrow with Cincinnati and all the weapons both of them possess on that side of the ball. Both defenses got beat up in the last time they played a football game. Today, both defenses have responded. So can either one of these offenses find that explosive play? One or two of them is going to gain them the advantage.
Remember, the Raiders defer to the second half, so they will have the football to start play in the third quarter. And a tight one, 10-6, Cincinnati. Return man is Drake. He's going to take it out of the end zone. Stumbles, and then gets hit hard at the 22. There's a flag down on the play. Clay Johnston on special teams with the tag. And those two are not disengaging.
That looks very familiar. My ball, no my ball.
And it's not going to end, apparently.
No amount of whistles are going to stop them. Now that's competitiveness there.
It was Allen and Drake.
P. Ryan pursuing. There's the initial hit. Was that Johnston that you mentioned?
Yes.
With the initial hit there, knocking it free eventually, and then the scramble ensued.
So the penalty marker to open up this third quarter. Joe Burrow, it was an awkward hit right at the end of the first half that involved his knee brace.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 48. 10-yard penalty. Las Vegas keeps the ball. First down.
And the hold called against Owasso on special teams. Downstairs to Evan.
Yeah, and let's start with that hit on Joe Burrow's surgically repaired left knee. Came out of the tunnel, no noticeable limp, jogged out onto the field. Zach Taylor told me he's all good. As for offensively, for Burrow and the Bengals, they're going to commit to the run here in the second half despite just under 4 yards per carry. Zach Taylor saying that dam is going to break. As for Rich Bisaccia, the big thing, the penalties, the 3 on defense. Those have to stop. This is a key drive offensively to get some rhythm.
Little toss. And the catch is made by Hunter Renfrow. Touch pass for 9 yards. Yeah, thank you, Evan. Those penalties were killers in the first half for Las Vegas. In that first half, total yards, neither team is going to blow you away with what they've done offensively so far.
And what Evan just reported, Zach Taylor saying they really want to press the run game, and eventually it will break. Let's see if they actually stick to that. A lot of teams talk about it. A little bit tougher to stay with it.
2nd down and 1. Jacobs a little giddy up there across the 20-yard line. Jermaine Pratt with the tackle. It's a 2-yard gain, but enough for a first down.
I think a lot of people watch Las Vegas Raiders ask the same question about the run game, because the way they're constructed, the way they're constituted, the way that they were, built to run offense under their previous coach, John Gruden, was to be a run-first team. Throw the play action, be a physical, beat-you-up team. I don't know if they're convinced that with their line the way it is right now, that they can be that team. I think they've got to play through Derek Carr a lot more as the quarterback, using the guys on the perimeter.
New set of downs for the Raiders. Fake it and then toss it to Jackson. He is dumped across the 25 by Mike Hilton. So a gain of 4. What does Deshaun Jackson bring to this offense in your eyes?
Well, what he does is he make people fear the deep pass, make people fear the ball downfield, because at the age of 34, he can still run, still has plenty of giddy up. But so far, they haven't been able to get it to him in the passing game, trying to get him going and bring a spark. That's something he told us. I can bring a spark to this team as I continue to learn the offense and get some touches. That was an attempt right there to ignite things. Good job by Mike Hilton of Cincinnati.
The Raiders have just one play over 9 yards so far today. Josh Jacobs met by DJ Reader.
And I'll put a cap on the Deshaun Jackson thing, Ian. People need to understand that, yes, he can bring those things to the table, but it's not the Deshaun Jackson of yore, where you're talking about 7 to 10 targets, him making those types of plays. You're trying to get 1 or 2 explosives out of him that can help everyone else on the team.
So, line of scrimmage is the 32. Opening possession of the second half for the Raiders. Brian Edwards spilled out. Well played by Cincinnati, and it's Bates on the outside.
And this is what Jesse Bates talked about going into the second half of the season and getting better at doing, which is tackling in the open field. He is a guy who is rangy, he diagnoses well, very smart, makes plays on the football in the pass game, but in the running game, too many missed tackles, too many missed opportunities. He came out and said, I was worried about my contract, I wasn't focused enough, I expect to be better here in the second half of the year, and that play is indicative of it.
Couldn't convert on a 3rd and short, forced to punt it away. Cincinnati gets the football back at the 14-yard line. Raiders Nation is saddened today by the death of Steve Smith. Smith was drafted by the Raiders back in August 6, 11:38 to play in the third quarter. Bengals' last playoff appearance was 2015. They believe they had the makings of a playoff team this year, with young Joe Burrow leading the way. The toss to Jamar Chase. Teammates at LSU obvious chemistry. Chase and Burrow told us, yeah, it took a little time, but it didn't take all that much to rekindle what they had during their collegiate days.
Not at all. And how about fearless coming to mind with that word on that inside route where he goes through all that traffic, makes a linebacker Littleton miss, makes Perryman a linebacker miss. Merrick has to get on his back to drag him down. But that was something interesting. Joe Burrow said, yeah, it took a little while, but not long, because we've thrown so many routes, and I've seen him run every route 1,000 different ways. You read body language and you go with it.
Driving is Joe Mixon across the 35-yard line. 5-yard pickup, first half possessions, that fumble to open things up, then the field goal. Got the touchdown for Mixon in that second quarter. We see a lot of 3 wide receiver sets with the Cincinnati team, 73% of the time. That's the 3rd highest in the NFL. They have a lot of confidence in Chase, Boyd, and Higgins, that core group.
And then they had Stanley Morgan in, and he's used as a run blocker even when he's out there in a wide receiver position.
Keep it on the ground. Exactly what Zach Taylor talked about with Evan Washburn at halftime. And in our discussion with Zach, their blueprint, like most teams, get the lead and then use your bell cow, bleed the clock. They believe in Joe Mixon. He wears you out in the 3rd quarter, into the 4th quarter.
What was the expression he used with Evan? We believe the dam will break.
Yep.
If we continue to go ahead and keep moving it in that direction. This offensive line, I'm sure they heard that at halftime and took that on as a personal challenge.
3rd down and 1. Mixon will set up to the side of Burrow. Quick hitter, enough for a first down. Tyler Boyd, he's really crafty. And with Boyd working out of the slot, you're going to get hit, and he absorbs it, turns it into a 7-yard gain.
Now, you run this play if you're the Bengals, you got to get rid of the ball quickly if you're Joe Burrow. You know why? See those 2 receivers out in front? Blocking downfield. You got to get rid of that within a yard of the line of scrimmage. Otherwise, you have guys blocking downfield before the ball is thrown. How about them getting that done, the Bengals, in their play design in order to shield their receiver and pick up a first down?
Out near midfield now. Burrow, fake it, and Mixon gets brought down by the turf monster.
I have a question, sir.
Yes. Charles Davis.
I do believe this is a milestone broadcast for you. 400. Congratulations.
Oh,
I'm very, very excited to be next to you for that. That is phenomenal. Have you seen that on the fake flea flicker, keep and go?
Not often.
But you have seen it before?
Not that I can recall.
Yeah, see, I've never seen that.
My 400 broadcast.
I'm not at that number, but I've never seen the fake keep it and go up under the...
I have a question for you, Charles. Is there a cake of some sort?
Well, I got a cupcake for my birthday, so there should be a full cake for you.
I got nothing. Burrow. Downfield, flag down.
And drew the flag. It was going to be an interference call.
It is Higgins and facing off out along the sideline.
Pass interference. Defense number 35. Spotted a foul. Automatic. First down.
Remember, they picked up Faison in camp because they were down and had a shortage on the corner, and he's come in and played above expectations. But on this one, you know how coaches tell you, hey, make sure you're on him like you're an extra shirt? Brandon Faison was. He literally was an extra shirt all the way through. An easy call for the officials on that one.
Cincinnati has had no penalties against them here this afternoon. Las Vegas now 5 for 57 yards. And the Bengals are threatening once again at the 28-yard line of the Raiders. Burrow's going to take a timeout.
Timeout, Cincinnati. Their first of the half.
I think Joe Burrow senses how crucial this drive is and where they are in the game. He doesn't want anything to go wrong.
8:17 to play in the 3rd quarter. We're back to Las Vegas in a moment. And they're attracting stars from the sports world, entertainment world. Joe Torre.
And you wanted a cake for yours? We give you Joe Torre.
That's it. Joe Torre. That covers everything.
We cover it.
One of the classiest people in sports.
Absolutely.
Out of the timeout, Burrow, swing pass. It is caught by Morgan. Hit hard along the sideline at the 25-yard line by Corey Littleton. Morgan has been on the practice squad out of Nebraska, the all-time leader in receiving in Nebraska history.
Interested to see if they give him a reception there, if that turns into a running play because of how that ball was thrown.
And it is a rush.
Yeah, because it was lateral, so he didn't get what he needed on that one. But how about Burrow taking his time on the progressions and finally ending up on that lateral to Stanley Morgan without being flustered?
From the 25. This time a toss. Nixon has no angle to work with. Gang tackled along the outside by Nate Hobbs, chasing him down, and a loss of 2 on the play.
Line of scrimmage controlled. Cleve Farrell, 99, gets back there, and Nate Hobbs coming from inside out, and Casey Hayward from outside in. Excellent combination to make sure that the runner's not able to get upfield to tackling.
3rd down and 9 for Cincinnati. Under 7 minutes to go in the 3rd. Burrow. Hammered at the 35. Quentin Jefferson. Waited a beat, and the Raiders make him pay.
So watch as they come on the rush, but watch Jonathan Abram late coming to the picture because he had no responsibilities for coverage. Once that was gone, now he's able to come join the party on the pass rush, and the coverage was so good downfield, Joe Burrow had nowhere to go, and Jonathan Abram grabbed him up.
It's a loss of 8. Let's see if this costs them with McPherson attempting a 53-yarder. Made one from 54 yards away. Harris to snap it. Huber the holder. 53-yard attempt. And McPherson does it again. Terrific showing. It's football's iconic show inside the NFL, streaming Tuesdays at 9:30 on Paramount Plus. Cincinnati 13, Las Vegas 6. 6:04 to go in the 3rd quarter. And Evan McPherson will kick it off to Kenyon Drake. Another touchback to the 25-yard line. So a lot going on right now in the AFC. How about Tennessee? Who saw that coming today and the loss to Houston? Baltimore gets it done. New England has emerged. Kansas City, they appear to be at least on their way back. And then all the other teams that currently occupy a wild card and in the hunt, including these two here today.
2 of the wild cards play tonight, Pittsburgh and the Los Angeles Chargers.
There's a hole for Jacobs. And by far his best run of the day. Created some space. He turns it into an 18-yard rip.
So watch this area and see what these guys do. Watch the space they create for Jacobs. Double team there between James and Simmons. 68 and 60. Jacobs reads it well. And you know what else you saw at the end of that explosive play? The Josh Jacobs yards after contact.
Yep.
Something that he's been known for and hasn't accumulated much of this season.
In fact, that's his longest run of the season. First down. Jacobs remains in there. Carr to throw it. Dump off. Jacobs gets to the outside with his agility. He got around Jermaine Pratt. Sam Hubbard was there to help. 2-yard pickup through the air.
Lou Anarumo, the defense coordinator of the Bengals, he and Zach Taylor, the head coach, you know they talked about their defense during this time frame? Explosives, guys. If we tamp down the explosive plays given up, that's where we will get our edge back, get our mojo back. So far in this game, they've kept them to a minimum, having given up a big play through the air. That Jacobs run was an explosive run, but you haven't seen much of that from the Raiders so far. Can the Bengals continue in that vein?
Carr sends Renfro in motion. 2nd down and 8. Another running play, and this time Cincinnati forces a loss. Sam Hubbard overwhelms Josh Jacobs.
So check out this play right here. All right, Hubbard, the right tackle, Brandon Parker trying to block him, blocked to air and then hit the ground. And Sam Hubbard took full advantage of it. I mentioned in the first half, former lacrosse player in high school decided to be a football player. He's taking his talents to the gridiron and applying them quite well.
and got rewarded to the tune of 4 years, $40 million. 3rd and 12. Carr going to take a deep shot, looking for it all, and it's along the sideline, out of bounds. Zay Jones matched up with Awuzie. 4th down for Las Vegas.
And Jonah Monroe, the side judge, is on it the entire way. See, they're hand fighting each other inside, and Awuzie has the excellent position to run him over the sideline. No place for him to come back and get the football. Really good coverage, excellent body positioning by Awuzie.
And he's had a really good season as well for Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think he's kind of expanded his game a little bit since Dallas. His game was speed when he was with the Cowboys. Now it's speed, and he's added the technical parts as well.
The punt from A.J. Cole. Return for Phillips from the 11-yard line. And he took a major pop at the 25. In fact, he went airborne for a moment. 48-yard kick, 15-yard return. Moreau, he actually knocked the ball free, and it was poked out of bounds. Cincinnati takes over. 13-6 Cincinnati in front. Joe Burrow and the Bengals take over at the 20-yard line. And again, Joe Mixon runs into his own man and knocks him down. And the Raiders finally get to him. Mixon plowing.
Look at this.
And Jamar Chase is trying to help out, but he feels the brunt of it.
He didn't just run into him. He forearmed him with the same forearm that the ball is in. So that's helping it, and Jamar Chase essentially ended up blocking 2 extra people because of that assist from Joe Mixon. But how about the right side of the Bengals line there? Hopkins, 66 at center. Adeniji, 77 at guard. Reef, 71 at tackle, clearing the way.
Longest play today, 18 yards for Cincinnati. Mixon again. The head coach of the Bengals, Zach Taylor, was a quarterback. Played QB at Nebraska, played in the CFL, transferred from Wake Forest, played for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And that relationship, when your head coach is a former QB and you're Joe Burrow, you can have a different level of conversation.
Absolutely. What was that Joe Burrow said to us about Zach Taylor? He gets it. He understands what I'm seeing, feeling, and it leads to quicker solutions between the two of us.
2nd down and 5 now for Cincinnati. P. Ryan in the backfield. Stumbles. And tackle to the 45 as we send it down for more from Evan.
Yeah, and Zach Taylor also endorsed the fact that he sees the mistakes differently as well, having lived them. Not all turnovers created equal, really is how he put it. Bring up the example in Chicago. 3 turnovers for Burrow on paper, a bad day. They both thought he played pretty well. That type of trust and relationship has this thing going in the right direction, fellas.
Yeah, Evan, and don't forget this, too. Zach Taylor's not just a guy who played quarterback. He's a Big 12 Player of the Year his last year at Nebraska. He played at a high level.
Crucial 3rd and 3. Connection made. Uzama into Raiders territory. Burrow can make big-time throws, and that one just needed to be on the money on 3rd down. He gets it to his tight end.
When you see him back there in that empty set and he's back in gun, it's really easy to picture him in the not-too-distant future orchestrating like we saw Manning orchestrate back in the day, like Brady can orchestrate that. He has all the tools, all the gifts for it. It will come in due time.
1st down toss to Mixon. He's got a running lane and then trips down. Drew Sample with a block out front. 6-yard gain for Mixon as time continues to count down in the 3rd.
Watch these receivers block inside to allow access to the perimeter. Boyd 83, Higgins 85. Then you get Reef 71, the offensive tackle, out on the run to allow Mixon to gain that extra yardage. Zach Taylor, he thought the dam would break. He's starting to put some cracks in this defensive front 7 of the Raiders running the football here in the 3rd quarter.
2nd down and 4. They're going to go with bigger bodies on the left. Burrow faked the handoff. Burrow breaks away. And a hit from behind at the 37-yard line. What could have been a sack, Burrow was adept enough to get out of it for 4. End of 3 in Las Vegas. It's 13-6. The Bengals in front. We start the fourth quarter at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. The 5-4 Cincinnati Bengals lead the 5-4 Las Vegas Raiders 13-6. Chris Evans will set up in the slot. They go empty. Shotgun for Burrow, who is 16 of 22 for 112 yards. Burrow, incomplete. Looked like he was going to hit Drew Sample for the catch, but he couldn't secure it in a matchup with Denzel Perriman.
Yeah, it looked like that was a really good play by Perriman, because the matchup that Burrow wanted in pre-snap he got, which was the tight end on the linebacker. But Perriman stays with it and plays right through the hands of Drew Sample to knock that one away. Good play by Denzel Perriman. He's known much more for his run stopping abilities than pass coverage.
Joe Burrow told us they are still really confident in who they are. They're not down on themselves after the 2-game losing streak. Mixon tried to loop it, and Perriman was all over it. Cleveland Ferrell also held up on the outside, and it's a loss of 5.
Give the Raiders defense credit. They've seen this play before. You're just replacing number 17 as a receiver with number 80, pulling from the backside to lead. And Cleveland Ferrell leads the charge into the backfield for Gus Bradley's defensive troops, trying to get a big stop here. Team down 13-6.
And now they are potentially out of field goal range at the 42-yard line. 3rd and 15. Burrow from the gun. Set it up. Pirine weaves through traffic. And he's dropped inside the 35 by Ngakoue. So they get 9. They're going to get McPherson on the field to try to extend the Cincinnati lead.
Almost like you had a direct line into Zach Taylor's head on that one, the play caller and head coach of Cincinnati. Out of range. At worst case, you throw that little swing, that little screen, give McPherson another opportunity.
And some history here for McPherson. This would be his 3rd 50-plus yard field goal of the day. 51-yard attempt. The rookie, Evan McPherson. And he's got another. 16-6. Cincinnati with the lead early 4th. Points in their last 2 games. That has not been an issue here this afternoon. They've got a 16-6 lead on the Las Vegas Raiders. 3 50-plus yard field goals made today for Evan McPherson, tying an NFL record and showing off that big leg once again. Thanksgiving Day, the NFL on CBS feeds your football appetite. Dallas and the Raiders. Then, next Sunday, NFL slate full of important playoff implications, including the Titans and Patriots, AFC North showdown, the Steelers and Bengals. Big Thanksgiving week coming your way. It's the NFL on CBS.
Go back to that last field goal for McPherson and that screen call by Zach Taylor. That's a head coach who's confident in his defense, making that kind of play to play for the field goal and not take the shot downfield.
They've held the Raiders to 143 yards of offense. Carr trying to push the ball downfield. He does to Darren Waller. And he's eventually brought down at midfield. That's 25 yards on the hookup.
No bump off the line of scrimmage, no one to check him. Does a nice job finding the open space and turning back and presenting his numbers to his quarterback. And Derek Carr put it right on him, and then Waller gained additional yardage after the catch. Raiders have a winning record through 9 games for the 3rd straight season, but they have not ended seasons in good form. First down, throw from Carr. He's got Waller downfield.
Inside the 20, back-to-back to one of the best tight ends in football. That one for 31.
We just talked recently about the Bengals limiting explosive plays. Back-to-back explosives to number 83, Darren Waller, a guy who ordinarily attracts so much attention you can't find him. And Derek Carr hung right in there, knowing the hit was coming from DJ Reader, and put a perfect shot downfield to Waller.
They placed the football at the 19 of Cincinnati. Kenyon Drake in the backfield. Shotgun. Carr. Fade. Got him! Touchdown! Perfectly thrown to Foster Moreau. Three plays, 75 yards. A quick strike from Las Vegas.
And this play was won on scheme. And what I mean by that is, once Derek Carr saw the linebacker Logan Wilson walk out there to go one-on-one with Foster Moreau, he knew that his guy was niftier on his feet than the linebacker would be. So out in space like that, Logan Wilson's no longer a linebacker, he's now a corner. And he doesn't have those skills requisite to make that type of a play. And Moreau goes over the top of him and completes the touchdown catch.
Extra point from Carlson. Now we've got ourselves a game. 11:42 remaining. Cincinnati's lead has shrunk to 3. Foster Moreau on a perfectly placed ball from Derek Carr.
We love our house.
Raiders offense had been dormant, and it has now come alive. 75-yard drive led by Derek Carr. Back-to-back passes to Waller and then to Moreau. It was an all-tight end possession. Shorter kick, fielded by Phillips. And Phillips accelerates across the 35-yard line.
So take a look at how this thing got organized, because we're going to see some confusion right here, okay? But what Derek Carr sees and what he wants to be able to see there to there. He sees that outside linebacker, the linebacker out on his tight end. Oh, I love that matchup. Once you're confused, and now you put him there on my tight end who I know can run routes, that's a winner for me. Derek Carr's experience won that route.
From the 38-yard line. Burrow gets rid of it quickly to T. Higgins. Working on the outside, Higgins crosses the 45, brought down by Faison. Good for 9 yards.
Oh, Zach Taylor made a calculated play to run that screen and set up the third field goal from Evan McPherson, feeling like his defense was fully in control. The Las Vegas Raiders went right downfield against that defense. First time this game they had those types of explosive plays. Now, Cincinnati's back having to run big-time offense.
Second down and 1. Mixon turns it upfield, and he's got enough for the first down. Hit by Solomon Thomas. And that'll move the chains for the Bengals. Under 11 minutes to go now on the fourth. Picks up 2. Bengals have lost their first game coming off the bye in 5 straight seasons. Outscored in those games 186 to 71. They've got a 3-point lead and a first down at the 49. Bootleg. Burrow. Deep ball. Knocked away. Jamar Chase was dealing with 2 Raiders back there. Merrick with excellent coverage for Vegas.
And at the end of this play, you'll see why number 25, Trayvon Merrick, was drafted out of TCU. That's coming from deep middle of the field as a free safety, ranging over to help make a play on the ball with Nate Hobbs and Jamar Chase. So it goes from being a one-on-one route where Chase has to beat one defender. Now here comes Merrick to help spoil the play and more than even up the odds for the defense.
Shotgun. Burrow delivers. First down. Good catch. Mike Thomas for 12 yards. just his 5th catch of the season.
The toughness of this wide receiver core of the Bengals cannot be underestimated. You know, Kansas City, phenomenal, tremendous flash and dash of what they do, and it's not to say that they're not tough. But this Bengals team, the premium on running the football and what they ask from these receivers, as well as catches like that from Mike Thomas, running those inside routes, knowing you're going to get the hit, give these guys a ton of credit for what we've seen this afternoon.
And Burrow has spread it around. 9 different receivers for Cincinnati. Handoff, not much there. Limited to a yard. Nassib and Thomas collaborate on Joe Mixon.
And we will see this throughout the finish of this game, I believe. As Zach Taylor told our Evan Washburn, they want to continue to pound the football with Joe Mixon. Good job there for the Raiders by Ryan Nassib, controlling the line of scrimmage and limiting it to a 1.5 yards.
Raiders had no sacks last week against Kansas City. They have 3 today against Cincinnati. Pitch it. Mixon waiting. Hard cut. Mixon inside the 20. Drew Sample and Jonah Williams with key blocks to help spring Mixon for 19.
You also have the receivers pinning down. Then, as you mentioned, Jonah Williams, 73, 89, Drew Sample getting out. But know what else helped? Was Max Crosby crashed inside from his defensive end position and left the hole open.
Burrow, tuck and run, out of bounds. The Heisman Trophy winner in 2019 picks up 4 yards on the play.
And expressing his displeasure at the end, because I can expect a little bit more of a brother-in-law type of play at the end of that. He's headed for out of bounds. As far as he's concerned, we're done here. I'm not trying to get more out of you. Was it Jonathan Abram out on the corner there trying to make a play on the football? He's trying to make a big play for his team to knock the ball free. And Joe Burrow didn't seem to appreciate it at all.
If you're the Raiders, you cannot give up a touchdown. Cincinnati leading this one 16-13, already in field goal range, and a timeout taken.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
Coming up after the game, time permitting, the State Farm postgame show. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher, latest NFL scores and highlights, all coming up on the State Farm postgame show.
Max Crosby plays so hard, but he crashed so hard inside on that last run by Mixon that it really helped open up that scheme very well for Cincinnati.
Challenge the rule of the field that there was not 12 men on the field.
So the Bengals, are they trying to get their timeout back?
Yeah, they're going to turn this into a challenge.
Try and get it back and say they didn't have that, so that's why they had to call the timeout. Jerome Boger going over to get some assistance on this one.
So Boger's going to put the headset on, and they're going to take a look. The question, were there 12 men on the field for Las Vegas? So we'll step aside, we'll take a look, as will the officials. We'll come back to Vegas after this.
We count 12 as this player at the bottom of the screen tries to get off the field. Did he get off the field in time before the ball was snapped? That would be the determination.
Well, the officials have determined that there were 12 men on the field.
Looks like Damian Square, number 97, trying to get off the field, and that happens when you change defenses, change calls, who's in, who's out. He was hustling to try and get there, but the snap was done in time. Cincinnati wins the challenge.
And they get their timeout back. So it sets up 1st and 5.
You take the shot with Jamar Chase one-on-one at the top of the screen.
Running play. Squeezing through is Mixon, just short of the first down. Brought down by Carl Nassib. So line of scrimmage will be the 10.
Number 75 is an eligible receiver. Number 75 is eligible.
So that's Isaiah Prince again.
So 6 offensive linemen here for Cincinnati. They got a bunch of options here on 2nd and 1.
Remember earlier in the game, Prince came in, Jonathan Abram blew him up and stopped the play.
Burrow on a handoff. Mixon He didn't get enough.
Now it'll be 3rd and short.
Hit down low by Jonathan Abram. And we're going to hit the 7-minute mark of this 4th quarter.
But if you're Cincinnati, you're liking the clock ticking, and you do believe you can get this amount of yardage. Wouldn't be surprised if Zach Taylor's thinking to himself, this is 4-down territory as long as we don't lose big yardage on this carry. Because he's thinking to himself, can we get that touchdown to really put the Raiders in a bind? He's not thinking field goal here, I don't believe.
They bring in Pirine. 3rd down, less than a yard. Pirine, big body. And he's got enough. 240 pounds.
They brought in some extra beef again in Isaiah Prince, the backup offensive lineman, number 75. He's on the right side blocking there. And this time he does a nice job driving Carl Nassib, number 94, off the line of scrimmage. But this was a week where we heard a lot of Bengals players talk about how they needed to improve and how they didn't have their best first half. Trey Hopkins, the center, was one of them. Back from an ACL early. Didn't feel like he had his full strength moving people. Today, a much better performance, snapping the football and blocking.
From the gun. Burrow. Fires. Incomplete. A lot of Raiders jerseys in the area. So was Tyler Boyd for Cincinnati. 2nd and goal.
You know who else was in the sight line? Big number 90, Jonathan Hankins. Big defensive tackle, and there's Tyler Boyd, a guy they can ill afford to lose, especially in these situations. Big threat in this type of a spot. So Hankins dropped out and became an extra pass defender.
Mike Thomas will step in at wide receiver. 2nd and goal for Cincinnati. 3-point lead for the Bengals. 5:46 to go. Running play, a blast for Joe Mixon. They pick up 3. Max Crosby in on that stop. Clock is rolling. 5.5 to play. 3rd and goal for the Bengals.
I don't see this as being a call that sets up a field goal. I see this as a shot at the end zone that Zach Taylor wants. He needs the touchdown here to give himself some pure breathing room.
Overwhelming time of possession in favor of Cincinnati. Burrow. End zone. Touchdown. Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow. Feathery touch. And the Bengals build on their lead.
Playing zone here, and Jonathan Abram, number 24, is a big hitter, but coverage not his specialty. A lot of teams try and find him in key situations, isolate him, and put their ball in his area. And in that zone, he wasn't over far enough to help Faison, number 35, the corner. And as you noted, the feathery touch of Joe Burrow completed the pass for a big touchdown for Cincinnati.
12 plays, 62 yards. McPherson just pushed that extra point wide.
It's too short. He needed 50-something yards.
Isn't that wild? You can make 3 50-yard field goals, and then the extra point becomes a challenge. That's his first missed extra point of his rookie season. And they took nearly 7 minutes off the clock on that drive.
And his good pass protection for Burrow in the pocket. Wasn't really hurried that much. Able to find his guy after a scan. And there's Jamar Chase on the business end of that throw.
So I completely understand your point of view. The Cincinnati aggressive mindset. The 3 points there, of course, would make it a 6-point game.
Yeah.
If you were thinking, all right, we can just take the field goal. I'm with you. I think Zach Taylor was locked in on touchdown. The Raiders, the last thing that they needed to happen there was to give up a touchdown, and it just did.
And go back to a series before when Zach Taylor played to his defense because they were playing so well. Played to set up the field goal. McPherson kicked it, and then the Raiders went right downfield and scored.
Kenyon Drake, the return man for Las Vegas, and struggles to get back close to the 20-yard line. Michael Thomas on special teams, 4:56 on the clock. And where does this game fit in It's important.
Oh, is it important? It is hugely important. And I look at teams that I'm convinced about. Although Buffalo, you're making me think right now after what happened today with getting blasted by the Indianapolis. And I had to jump Indianapolis into it. They are really playing well right now. Need to see more. Las Vegas, we're seeing it right now. Cincinnati's, we're really seeing it from them. Cleveland got a big win today. And don't forget, Pittsburgh could get on this list very quickly as either convinced or need to see more. That will be told tonight when they play the Los Angeles Chargers.
Good hands by Josh Jacobs. Still a lot of time on the clock, 4:51. But for the Raiders, there aren't a whole lot of options. They got to get down the field and score quickly.
And now, after the last series, when they got those explosive plays, let's see how Cincinnati lines up. What Lou Anarumo asked them to do. I think we'll see a lot of two deep safeties, trying to keep everything in front with no big plays resulting.
Carr lets it fly. Intercepted. Picked off by Eli Apple. Flag down at the end of the play. And Trey Hendrickson slow to get up for Cincinnati.
Might be the hit at the end of it is where the penalty is with Eli Apple.
Derek Carr has thrown a pick in 4 straight games. The concern right now for Cincinnati is Trey Hendrickson, who has fit in perfectly with his Bengals defense coming over from New Orleans.
And many thought the sack numbers last year were a little bit of a fluke. He was proving they are
Personal
not.
foul, unnecessary roughness. Las Vegas, number 28. 15-yard penalty adds to the end of the play. First down, Cincinnati.
Yeah, that would be the hit at the end of it after Apple intercepted the pass when Jacobs came to tackle him. He's down and is giving himself up, and then the hit comes from Jacobs at that point. But look at the pick. It was what we call 2 deep coverage. 2 safeties high, 2 corners rolled up, and Eli Apple did not have anyone pressing him up in the front, in front of him, able to sink back deeper in his coverage, read the eyes of the quarterback, and go to the football.
So the Bengals take over with 4:43 left to play here in the 4th. 7 penalties against the Raiders, costing them 77 yards. Give to Mixon, and this is the dream scenario for one Zach Taylor. Have the lead in the 4th quarter, give the ball to Joe Mixon, watch the clock run out. Coming up, time permitting, State Farm postgame show, JB and the gang. All the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the State Farm postgame show.
And if there's any doubt about what Cincinnati's strategy will be, guess who's back on the field, Ian? Number 75, Isaiah Prince, reporting in. Another offensive tackle coming in to line up. Look at him on the right side. Look at all those white shirts aligned.
Mixon has gone over 100 yards rushing. And then some. Mixon shifting gears for the touchdown. And that should be the dagger.
Everybody to the right, but watch the cutback lane by Mixon. See, Jonah Williams, 73, and Quentin Spain, 67, the left tackle and left guard, respectively. They watched their guys inside, which allowed Mixon, with his vision, to see the cutback lane to the left. So everything showed going right. He saw the open space to the left, and his eyes took his legs to the end zone.
And this time the extra point is perfect from McPherson. 29-13. Bengals. Joe Mixon's 2nd touchdown run of the day. A $127. A $121 on the ground.
And he has had a heck of a day. Got nice assists from not just his offensive line, but his wide receivers. Look at the offensive line getting out to run in space and hit people. And when you have an offensive line that can hit moving targets in open space, that gives you that much more. And there was the last touchdown. Again, from the left side, Jonah Williams, 73, Quentin Spain, 67. Handled their business, moving guys inside to allow Mixon to cut back behind them and carry it in for another touchdown.
Yeah, Mixon fired up. You know, if you're tracking the Cincinnati Bengals and you're bullish on them moving forward.
Yeah.
Mixon, Burrow, Chase, Higgins, Boyd. That's a big reason why. Those skill position players, they're all young.
Yes, and it's games like this and wins like this that allow the rest of the country to realize Joe Mixon is putting together a heck of a season in Cincinnati.
Bengals have an all-time record of 2-15 on the road against the Raiders, including the postseason. First win came
Boomer!
1988. Boomer knew we were going to do it.
Boomer!
3 touchdown passes in the win. Only other time, 2015 in Oakland. Andy Dalton, Tyler Eifert, 2 touchdowns. So a win in LA, a win in Oakland, and now 3 minutes and 51 seconds away from a win in Las Vegas.
That one in Oakland, was that one of your 400?
It was.
It was, right?
I definitely did that game.
Yeah.
At least I think I did. I've convinced myself I did that game.
I'm going with it. And all kidding aside, congratulations first and foremost.
Thanks, Charles.
And it's an honor for me to be up here with you for the 400. Many others have been here who've done it quite well along the way, but no one does it better than you guys.
The feeling's mutual. On the pass, he hits Zay Jones for a first down. Down to Evan.
Yeah, you betcha it's nice to be with Iron Eagle over the course of a season. Guys, just good news on Boyd. It's just cramps. He's heading in for an IV, and he'll be early for this locker room celebration.
And Evan, if you're Cincinnati, you look at what's coming up as Carr tosses it out of bounds. 5 of their last 7 games are home. So they're going to have a chance to develop a little home cooking down the stretch as they try to make a playoff push. Home for Pittsburgh, then home for the Chargers. Games will be challenging, but a bunch of home games for Cincinnati. Meanwhile, for the Raiders, they're at Dallas on Thanksgiving, so a quick turnaround. And then a home game for Washington in a season that had so much promise. A jump there. Remember, Cincinnati had no penalties. 0. Is that going to end here?
If it's a false start on the Raiders offensive line, that would surprise no one. Way too many of those this entire season.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number
That's
92.
the first.
5-yard penalty. Second down.
And the Raiders offensive line, see, wasn't us this time.
You know,
Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator.
in chatting with Cincinnati head coach Zach Taylor, he mentioned that Chicago game a couple of times. The way they lost that game stuck with him, that you have to learn from those types of games. Loved how the team responded after that game. He's going to love how they've responded here today after a 2-game losing streak. Renfro with the catch and down at the 33-yard line to another first down for Las Vegas. We're down to 2:46 to go. Obviously, if the Raiders get a touchdown, they're going to have to go for 2, try to make this a 1-possession game. Carr, toss underneath to Jacobs. Hit by Von Bell. It's a gain of 8 through the air.
You mentioned that, was it 7 of their games down the stretch at home? Is that correct? Did I hear that?
5 out of 7.
5 out of 7. And they are a team. See this play.
Carr. And that was dropped by Jacobs.
The reason I bring that up is we always talk about the AFC North and how tough a division it is, how physical it is, but also talk about how you have to be built for November, December, January because of weather. This team's built for it. The way that they can run the football with Mixon, how they've gotten stouter on the defensive side with DJ Reader inside against teams' run games, and gotten better against passing. So all in all, you're seeing Cincinnati join the fray again in the AFC North to be one of those typical AFC North teams.
3rd down and 2.
Right there. Hang on.
And a timeout called with 2:10 on the
Timeout,
clock.
Cincinnati. Their second 30-second timeout.
There's a lot made about Cincinnati coming off of the open weeks and their record being poor. This was a way to eliminate that discussion.
On the flip side, Rich Bisaccia trying to get this team back on the right track. Got off to a good start when he took over for John Gruden, but last couple of games, those mistakes coming to the forefront once again. His priorities after the last 2 games: got to tackle better, got to communicate better, got to stay on the field on offense, got to get better in the kicking game. Just a checklist. Yeah. And it continues to be a challenge.
And some of those things they did get better, but the penalties and the type of penalties and the times that they happen, that's where it's been really difficult for the Raiders. They make good plays and then they give them back.
3rd and 2. Carr, well thrown to Renfro. Raiders lost a bunch of glue guys, and something that Bisaccia felt does have an effect on the team. Ingold and Carrier, Kwiatkowski, Nixon. 2 minutes to play. Cincinnati in control. Carr is sacked. Sam Hubbard gets home.
Hubbard starts upfield and then falls back inside. Brandon Parker trying to push him to the outside, but when the move was made by Carr, he just fell back inside and got it.
Carr fumbles the football. Hendrickson with the sack, and it's scooped up by Sam Hubbard. Lacrosse skills activate. And that'll do it.
Ball on the field, it's a fumble, recovered by the defense for a first down, Cincinnati.
So watch him coming from the outside. That feels almost like a blocking error because Colton Miller, an excellent left tackle, was looking inside first, and that allowed Hendrickson to get that step and get upfield, and then he pursues Carr, knocks it free, and Hubbard, his partner in crime on the other side, picks it up.
Is an eligible receiver.
Carr trying to ask for some help, and the ball comes out of his hands involuntarily.
Well, the hit was made down low by Hendrickson right here.
And now he's trying to put it, and he can't get it tucked. Ball pops free, and Hubbard. Scoop.
Yeah, guys, we call that a ground ball in lacrosse.
Yes.
And both of your checks will be in the mail. That's 3 lacrosse references. And Chris Hogan didn't even play in this game.
Yeah. Now, how about that long rush like that? You know, I mean, when you're would you be carrying it that way, Evan?
Coming up tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, the future of supersonic flight in America, followed by new episodes of The Equalizer and NCIS Los Angeles, plus FBI International tonight on CBS. A little concern there for Carr. He grabbed at his left ankle area right at the end of that play, limped off, but now walking it off along the sideline. Remember, they play again on Thursday.
Yeah, got to turn their. This is one of those ones you can't wallow at all. Got to turn your attention right away. Big game, the whole nation will be watching, and a game that they absolutely must have. And Dallas, I know, was struggling themselves earlier in this game.
And Mixon brought down immediately by Denzel Perriman. You know, this is a Cincinnati defense that played at a very high level through the first 7 games of the season. They were among the league leaders through 7, and it got away from them the last couple of games. AFC playoff picture giving Cincinnati the win to 6-4. Las Vegas, the losing streak continues. 3 straight losses for the Raiders to move to 5-5.
I think the interesting one to me, Buffalo at 6-4, back to a wild card. You know, I mean, before the season, let's be frank about it. We thought it was Buffalo and who could challenge them and get a playoff spot in the East, not win the East. Right now, it's up for grabs, and New England is charging.
Things have changed dramatically. They're down at 10. Little dance from Mixon. And that's going to stop the clock with 1:09 to play. Last time out called by the Raiders.
And Evan McPherson is okay with that. Gives him another chance to put points on the board and exercise his leg.
Had the numbers. Had himself a banner day with 3 50-plus yard field goals.
I talked with his long snapper at Florida, Brett Dioguardi. I said, give me a little something on your teammate. And all he told me, he said, he's just so great. I've got nothing but platitudes. So there you go. Congratulations, Evan McPherson. You got a teammate who won't give you up.
So you were looking for dirt.
Not necessarily dirt, but maybe, a little something, a little lanyard put on top.
47-yard attempt here from McPherson. And he's got it. 32-13, Cincinnati. 1:04 to play. Oh, we mentioned that Pittsburgh game. That's coming up. The Chargers, San Francisco, at Denver, home for Baltimore. So they can unpack their bags. They can settle in at home for a long stretch before heading out west in late December.
And two things quickly leap to mind. Los Angeles Chargers, San Francisco. Those are both home games, correct? Mm-hmm. Those are what we call ostensibly warm weather teams. Coming to Cincinnati, that may encounter some weather. We talk about how this team's constructed now. Could that be an advantage for them? We'll see.
Yeah, one other thing Zach Taylor talked about, he said, there's something they discussed with the players this week. Look around the league. Most teams have gone through this. Most teams have had a 2-game losing streak this season. Do not overreact. It's what you do about it. And the Bengals did something. They got a win in Las Vegas. The Raiders are still on the streak. 271 yards of offense for the Las Vegas Raiders. And the final minute change here at Allegiant.
Triple. Why that is up?
Give it to Kenyon Drake. Lowers the shoulder, crosses the 30-yard line. Raiders have no timeouts remaining. We're down to 52 seconds to go.
I think for the Bengals, the biggest takeaway in this one is how the defense bounced back from the drubbing Cleveland gave them before the open week. And big plays abounded in that one against Cleveland. Not as many of those given up in this game. Really made a jump back to earlier season form.
Drake again. And he's tackled just short of the 35-yard line. And that is it. Big win for the Cincinnati Bengals. They come into Las Vegas and they get it done. 32-13. Bengals improved to 6-4. For the Raiders, 3 consecutive losses.